Hi, welcome back to Pearls of Wisdom video tutorials. My name is Jennifer. I'm the owner of Pearls of Wisdom and co-owner of Mainline Pearls. Today we are going to talk about how to do a double knitted button band. And I have in front of me the Pomona vest by Sari Nordlund from her book Summer Knits. There she is, looking lovely. And this is made out of Knitting for Olive Pure Silk held double. You can see there's a double strand here. And the first instructions are to mark for the buttons. So Sari has suggested, and in her sample that she's wearing, she has 4 buttons. So she suggested 4 buttons. This top marker you place as you are doing the actual garment to mark the top. So I already placed that one. That's been there. I decided I wanted 5 buttons. And one of the reasons I wanted 5 buttons, I think it looked a little too far between the buttons with 4. I would have had at least 4 inches between the buttons had I followed her instructions. And I think when you have that much room, it's prone to gape. So we definitely don't want that. The other thing that I am sort of a stickler about is I do not like it when buttons are up here instead of at the bottom. I think that that also gapes and I think it looks sloppier. So hers doesn't look sloppy when she's wearing it, but that's kind of my rule. So I moved this one down. It was supposed to be 1.5 inches. It's about 1/2 inch. And then I got about 3.5 inches between where the buttons are going to be placed. The next thing you do is you pick up stitches. So I am so used to picking up and knitting. Picking up stitches alone is kind of awkward for me. And I don't know if you can tell, some of these are oriented differently, and especially maybe around the other side. So I picked up in one direction, I picked up in another. I think as I do this button band, I may knit into the back of the loop of some of these. And then lastly, something she didn't mention, but I am also a stickler about, is making sure that you have a similar number when you pick up. Now, the theory is you're picking up 1 stitch per every row, and that sounds kind of easy. It's not always as easy as it sounds, especially because the edge of this has cables. And so it's weaving in and out. And so it's kind of difficult sometimes to figure out. If it was just straight, okay, 1, 1, 1, 1, maybe that's easy, but it's not. So I always make sure that my sides match up. So you have the back, that's not a problem, 1 stitch per cast on, and it's kind of scrunched on here. The other thing is she suggests a 24-inch needle. This is a 32. I don't know how you would do this on a 24. But I think that this is the back. Yes, you can see how these are nice and even. They all look the same. That was easy. So you have the back. That doesn't have to match anything. And then you have the slopes. So it's starting and you're knitting at quite an angle, which you can't see so much because it's a V-neck. You can't see it so much because it's squished on here. But you have this one side, the angle on one side, and then the angle on the other. So they should match, and then your bottom part should match. Oddly enough, it's about the same distance, give or take, from the bottom to the bottom of the curve where you start to, it's really the end of the increase because you're coming from the top. And so I did get a similar number of stitches, but then when I went down the other side, I got a few more. So I thought when I picked up this first side that maybe there were some gaps. So you can see here, I should have another stitch here. So that's right before this yellow marker. And then also I would say by this other buttonhole, potential future buttonhole, I could pick up another one here. I'm about 3 stitches shy on this side compared to the other side. I want to get at least 2 more stitches in because I like the numbers to be no more than 1 to 2 stitches apart. Otherwise you might have it hanging in a strange way. The next thing you do is you are told to cast on, long tail cast on 12 stitches. So you didn't have any yarn attached prior to this. You weren't picking up and knitting this. So you're just taking you've done all your pickups and you're just taking this piece of needle here, that's sticking out and casting on onto that needle. You would not have to use long tail, but you can do it. You can't do long tail when you already have stitches on the needle, but you don't really have any stitches on the needle. You just have these loops and you have nothing on the other edge. So you do long tail. So this is 12 stitches. So the way this works is the button band, and I'd have to turn this, is going to be going this way. So sort of perpendicular as you do it, but actually then the stitches are lined up with the stitches of the fabric. The 12 stitches, because it's double knit, becomes 6. So it's 12 stitches wide now, but it will get folded over and will become 6. The way it gets folded over is your slipping stitches, and also you are adding one stitch. You are going to SSK this last stitch with the first stitch here, and then so on and so forth. Every right side row, you are going to add a stitch in from this edge. So just to clarify these instructions, and everybody is different, but it does say slip as if to purl for the first one. It does not clarify that they are all slip as if to purl. So I went to look at the abbreviations and it says slip is always as if to purl. I also checked out SSK because sometimes it is slip as if to knit or slip as if to purl. In this instance, she suggests slip as if to knit. So I am going to, it is slip with the yarn in front. So of course you want to make sure you don't have your tail. This is my working yarn here. And I am going to slip with the yarn in front. Now I'm going to try to keep this pretty tight as I do the next knit because you don't want it loose and floppy. So it's slip as if to purl, knit the next stitch. And I'm just going to alternate those two, slip as if to purl, knit the next stitch, and I should end up with, oh, I did slip that one, didn't I? I'm so used to doing ribbing. I'm going to go check. So I just did the ribbing, so that might be in my brain. Looks like I did slip it. Slip. I should end up with a slip and then one stitch left, which is the stitch I'm going to combine with the body of the garment. Slip, knit, slip, knit, and that's correct. Slip. Okay, now I have my one stitch left. Here's my first stitch on the garment. Whoop. Saying that the cord is too small, but I've got so scrunched up back there. Okay. So here is my first stitch. This one I think I'm going to knit into the front. So, oops, lost that one. That's my last stitch. So that's the one I'm going to slip as if to knit. And then I'm going to slip this one as if to knit. Oh, I'm not going to do that. Slip it. And then I am going to SSK. Okay, now they are officially attached. It's going to be a little tricky to turn this over because of the size of this, especially with just one row connected. You want to make sure you don't pull it. It doesn't get separated and stretched out. Okay, now I've got it switched, and I am going to slip as if to purl, knit, slip, knit. Notice that you're slipping as if to purl and it looks like a purl bump. And you are just going to repeat this. So you do the same thing until you get to the marked button band. And then you do something a little different because you are, of course, making a hole for the button. Did I say button band? Till you get to the marked button spot. Whole thing is the button band. Okay. I'm going to do one more, and then we will fast forward till I get to that button band. Not button band. Button marking. I have a size 2.5 needle, which is what she calls for. The body of this was a 6. I'm purposely doing this a little bit on the tight side because you definitely want a snug button band. One left. Slip as if to knit. Slip as if to knit. SSK. Okay, I will see you back in a few minutes. Okay, I am at the first buttonhole marker, which I have removed, and I just want to clarify, I said that this is going to double around. It is not. That would be a folded hem or a folded neckline. You're just attaching one stitch as you go, and of course slipping the stitches, so it's not the regular ribbing. So to do the button band, you're basically just knitting on, doing this slip knit pattern on 6 of the 12 stitches for 3 rows. That is going to create a hole in the middle, cutting the yarn, and then doing it on the other side. And that in the middle then, of course, it's not attached, and that's your hole for the button. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I started with a slip. I should end with a knit, which I have. And then rather than keep going, I'm going to flip it. And slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit. Okay, on the next row, I'm going to do the 6 and cut the yarn. Three, 4, 5, 6. And you can see that that's your edge there where the button is going to go. I have these great scissors that were part of my goodie basket when I was on the retreat in Costa Rica from Claudia. Just love them. They're nice and sharp. So let me leave a little bit longer tail and then just reattach. I'm just going to reattach with a long tail over here. A little tricky because you're slipping, so you have this unattached yarn and going right into a slip, so that's a little tricky. Definitely make sure you have a long enough tail. Knit, slip, knit. Okay, and then the last knit, of course, you are going to attach by doing the SSK. So here's a stitch that I definitely want to slip into the back because of the way it's oriented on the needle. So I'm slipping that last stitch, and then this one I'm slipping like that. And then coming in the front. There we go. And then, again, only 6 stitches. Make sure you don't connect it. Slip, knit, slip, knit. That's 4. And when I end this, I will end on that opening. And I'm going to give that yarn a little tug here where I joined it. So you can see there's your buttonhole. This is predetermined how large this hole is going to be. There's not a lot of wiggle room with this, so the buttons are on the larger side, and you will have to choose a button that is going to be big enough and not too big. Okay, so I'm slipping. Knit, slip, knit, slip, so this is row 3. This is my last separate row, meaning just the 6. And this one I am also going to slip into the back of that instead of the front. Flip it, and now I just go across the 12 stitches. And I'll get to that opening and I will connect it by just going across the 12. And then it's business as usual until you get to the next marker. I'm also going to tug on this where I cut it. Because you're knitting, I'm knitting tightly, and you have a small needle, those ends are not that loose. Okay. And there is your buttonhole. Nice and neat, bordered by the ribbing.